All right. Happy April, everybody. We're going to be talking about taxes. We're going to be talking about tariffs. We're going to be talking about Trump. We're going to be talking about the villages, the impact of all three things on the villages, Florida real estate. Let's start with taxes, like property taxes. One of my agents recently connected with me and asked me, what's going to happen with property taxes? So are they going to do away with property taxes? And maybe, but not likely. I mean, I think what we're looking at, Governor DeSantis is really looking at, reducing the property taxes. So, this is what he said.
So I think most people who've been in Florida over the recent years have seen, on the one hand, if you're a homeowner and you bought a home 5, 10 years ago, your home's worth a lot more now, just based on the market, based on people wanting to have a demand to live in Florida. And so, there's obviously a lot of benefits that come to that. I mean, I know people who bought their homes for $250,000 30 years ago, and now they're assessed at over $1 million. That's not something that is out of the ordinary, and that is a source of wealth, particularly if you're free and clear of the mortgage. But one of the drawbacks of that is you have bought a house at a certain price. You can obviously afford that. You may have been taxed at that price at the time. Now you have local governments telling you, well, actually, no, your house is worth a lot more. Pony up more to us in the form of property taxes. And so people have seen, even with homestead exemption, it has not been enough to be able to protect people against these rising assessments. And then, of course, if you're in a situation, and look, we have a relatively mobile workforce. I mean, if you're somebody that has a job in Tampa.
Well, that's the thing we're seeing right now is like when you're looking at property taxes, they've gone up. Obviously, values in Florida for the people that have been here for a long period of time. They're really looking at helping seniors out. That's the governor's take on it, where he wants to help seniors that have owned their properties for a long period of time. And obviously, who can be against that for sure? Obviously, you've got to be at the point where tax dollars are needed. That's always a thing. But also, the other thing that's on the table is if it's not property taxes, it could be sales taxes, where they could reduce sales taxes. Now, the governor's standpoint on this, as far as taxes go and revenue, they're doing a great job with the budget. Florida doesn't need a whole lot more money. They're taking enough money, and they're pretty responsible in how they handle the budget. So they're looking at how could we reduce taxes. Property taxes is one, sales taxes is another. The governor's stance in this, and I'd like to hear what you're thinking. Which would you pick? I guess depending on where you are, because what they're thinking about the other side of this is sales tax reduction. The governor's stance on it is that if people from out of town were to come into the state, then property taxes wouldn't impact. It would actually have no effect on them, but sales taxes would actually help people from out of town. So in other words, he's interested in helping only Florida residents. And so, in the short run, if you're visiting Florida, and we're hearing a lot of situations where people are coming from Canada, from up north, down south, South Florida, wherever you're coming from, may determine what's going to happen. So if you're visiting from outside of the state, you could be impacted by in a positive way with a reduction in sales tax. If it's a property tax, then it's basically going to be neutral for people that are out of town. But either way, it looks like there's going to be a win for Florida residents. So if you're thinking about moving to the area, know that that's probably going to be a thing. That's going to be something that could be coming up. The other thing that we're looking at is obviously tariffs. And, tariffs are having an impact everywhere. Especially on the short term. And I think Donald Trump, our president, has indicated that that's going to be the case, that there's going to be some shakiness in the economy. And what we're experiencing here in the state of Florida is more of, I think there's some hesitancy from buyers, but we're seeing pretty good volume. Like we're seeing pretty good volume of buyers in our markets, right? We're the number one real estate company in the Villages. And I'm the broker, and I understand, we're getting sufficient evidence of buyers, sufficient offers. In fact, in some cases, multiple offers. But the impact that tariffs are making right now, really, from the Canadian aspect, And what I mean by that is we're seeing a mass exodus, but we're seeing more, I'd say measurably more. It's hard to say how many. I'd say maybe 20% more Canadian sellers. And, obviously politics has been a big thing, obviously, for the last 12, 14 years, but especially, since COVID, politics has played a big part in Florida and the impact of real estate in our area. But tariffs have played a game with the Canadians, and a lot of Canadians are feeling like, number one, they're not sure if they want to stay here. They're not sure if they're going to be able to come back. They're not sure about the taxes. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's what this whole thing has done. With Trump and was Trudeau, and now the current premier of Canada. And I know their elections are coming up in the next couple of weeks. But that impact has provided more inventory in our market, and more inventory has caused prices to come down. Now, that's not the sole reason. It's not the only reason why we're seeing more inventory. There's a lot of reasons for that. Interest rates are part of that factor. The other part is people taking advantage of cashing out of their homes, normal movement in the villages, obviously attrition, people moving for health reasons. But we're seeing a lot of people move in too. So it's kind of almost a balancing act. But the tariffs have played an impact on inventory, and really and their impact with the Canadian citizen. Now, for anybody, some of the things I've done is I've talked to a lot of we've had several Canadian agents in our office. And the one thing that we've discovered is the best move, if you're unsure, if you're Canadian, not sure about the impact of all this. Number one, connect with your embassy to understand, getting in and out of the country. That's number one. Number two, if you're not sure about your tax base, there is something called FIRPTA, FIRPTA, which is foreign investment real estate, right? So if you are a foreign national living or own a property here in the United States, which you can do, when you sell, there can be a withholding. So there is, we do have some information on that. So if you need information on FIRPTA and what are the steps, I'd be happy to send you a guide on that. You could also text me at this number, 352-572-3796, 352-572-3796. So that's the impact right now. Property taxes and some on property taxes will definitely benefit our sales market for sure, I think, in a way. And it will cause people to actually stay longer in their homes because they're not going to be pushed out of their homes, hopefully, if it's a significant property tax decrease. And that should take place. I don't remember when that's going to happen, but I'm sure we're going to know something in the next, which direction this is going in. Let me know your thoughts about that. Let me know your thoughts about tariffs. That's a hot political football right now. And obviously, Trump is involved in a lot of this, right? A lot of what we're seeing right now is there's a big impact. So I'm not interested in necessarily negativity, but just some, in favor of or not in favor of such things, tariffs or property taxes. The update right now is we're seeing good impact on good demand, but we're still seeing a little bit of an increase on inventory. And right now we're seeing about a 4.5 month to 5 month supply of homes on the market. So it's something to watch out for. Price reductions are happening. I'm seeing buyers get really good deals right now. They're making offers and they're getting $25,000, $30,000 off of list price, sometimes more, sometimes 50. So good deals are out there for sure. If you want to connect, just let me know. I'm Glenn Stein, broker owner of Realty Executives, and would be happy to help.